Hello, my name is Jess and welcome to the Storyteller Fox. Come along and listen to read aloud books, be it for bedtime, story time, or simply to read along.
Have you heard of a designer brand called Chanel? They sell bags and other fashion products. Well, this book tells the story of a once little girl called Coco Chanel. And she was the one that started off the Chanel brand. This book is by Little People, Big Dreams. It's written by Maria Isabel Sanchez Vergara, illustrated by Ana Alburo. Let's dive in and see how her journey is. Little People, Big Dreams, Coco Chanel. Read aloud by the Storyteller Fox. This is the story of a French girl called Gabrielle. When she was little, Gabrielle lived in an orphanage. That is Gabrielle. The nuns thought Gabrielle was very strange. She was different and they didn't like it. Gabrielle was different. While the other girls played, she liked to sew with a needle and thread. That is her sewing with a needle and thread, while all her other friends are playing. When Gabrielle grew up, she sewed by day and sang by night. The people watching called her Coco. When Coco finally went to bed, she dreamt in shapes and patterns. She wanted to make so many things. See her mind there. One day, Coco made a hat for her friend. Simple and elegant. It was different to the usual style. Wow. Isn't that beautiful? It's got a beautiful hat there. Coco made more and more hats until she had enough to open a hat shop. Her modern design surprised the mademoiselles in Paris. One evening, at a party, Coco saw that the other ladies weren't dancing. Their corsets were too high and they could hardly breathe. So Coco created a brand new style, simple and straight. Her dresses and skirts would be comfortable to wear. At At her first fashion show, some people sneered. Coco's clothes were too strange and different from them. But as time went on, Coco showed them that to be stylish, you don't need to wear corsets or sparkly sequins. And being different might make other people think differently too. That's why everyone now remembers the young Gabrielle as the great designer, Coco Chanel. This is the biography of Coco Chanel. She was born in 1883 and she died in 1971. This is a picture of her at 1932. Here is another picture of Chanel at 1936. And further on, you can see a picture of Coco Chanel in 1937. Then at 1962, this is a picture of her. Coco Chanel was one of the most famous fashion designers that ever lived. She was born as Gabrielle Chanel in a charity hospital and grew up in a rundown house in a French town. Following the death of her mother, when Gabrielle was 11 years old, she was sent to a strict convent school where she learned to sew. After school, she became a seamstress, sewing for a tailor during the day, while in the evenings she sang on stage. It was at this time that she earned the nickname Coco from the soldiers in the audience. Then in 1908, she became a hat maker and soon afterwards opened her first shop in Paris. Soon she had more shops and started to sell as well clothes as well as hats. Her simple, elegant designs, which were straighter and shorter than normal, and freed women from corsets, took the world by storm. In 1918, Chanel opened a couture house in 31 Rue Cambon, and 3 years later, she unveiled her first perfume, known as Chanel No. 5. She became a worldwide fashion icon, and her comfortable, easy-to-wear styles changed women's clothes forever. And that is the story of the famous designer called Gabrielle Chanel, or as people nicknamed her, Coco Chanel. By Little People, Big Dreams. It's such a wonderful book that inspires all of us about the incredible things that these outstanding people achieve during their childhood and during their lifetime. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the story of Coco Chanel, the famous fashion designer.
Hello and welcome to the Storyteller Fox. Let's listen to a story called Dream Big by Bodhi Hunter and Louise Elise. Dream Big, written by Bodhi Hunter and illustrated by Louise Elise. You can do anything. Put your mind to it. Dream big. Believe that you can do it. You could be a pilot of a plane or learn to drive a high-speed train. You could be a doctor or a teacher or find an undiscovered creature. You could be a clever scientist or a famous concert pianist. You could explore the deep ocean or excavate a castle keep. You could be an engineer or join the police as your career. You could work on a construction site or be a hero and firefight. You could act in movies and on TV, or dance on the stage for all to see. You could play music in a band or drive freight across the land. You could study law and do good deeds, or write great books for kids to read. You could fly up into outer space or make the world a better place. You can do anything. Put your mind to it. Dream big. Believe that you can do it. I hope you've enjoyed the short book. For more exciting stories, please remember to like and subscribe at the Storyteller Fox. Bye for now.
Do you like to perform and be on stage? Maybe just like Josephine Baker? Josephine Baker is a famous girl who loved to be on stage. Let's take a look at the history of her lifetime by Little People, Big Dreams. Little People, Big Dreams, Josephine Baker. Written by Maria Isabel Sanchez Vergara, illustrated by Agatha Solet. Little People, Big Dreams, Josephine Baker. Written by Maria Isabel Sanchez Vergara, illustrated by Agatha Solet. This is the incredible story of a girl from St. Louis named Josephine. Some would say she was born with nothing, but she had 2 legs made for dancing, a dazzling smile, and a free spirit. and she was going to use them. When Josephine was a little girl, white people seemed to live in another world. They made all the rules, and these rules were very different if your skin color was black. But Josephine danced her way out of St. Louis and became a street artist, then a theater performer. When Josephine moved, her legs were elastic, fantastic. You see that? Josephine traveled to New York and became the last dancer on the end of the chorus line. But somehow, everybody noticed her. Her movements were silly and stylish at the same time. Josephine knew that she had gone as far as a black woman could go in America at that time. So, when she was offered a job in a new show in Paris, she jumped at the chance and sailed to Europe. Just imagine how Josephine felt arriving in France. Here, black and white people lived alongside each other. For the first time in her life, Josephine felt free. Josephine became a star overnight. The shimmy, the moosh, the mess around, the Charleston, all her movements were exciting. People had never seen anything like it before. First Paris, and then all of Europe. Her fame grew, and so did her pet collection. She shared her life with cats, dogs, fish, birds, a pig, a goat, and even a baby cheetah. Her heart was big and full of love to give. Josephine began singing and filming movies. She was the first black woman to ever star in a film. Her dazzling personality made her a total superstar. But then World War II began and half of Europe was invaded. Josephine knew she had to do something. She became a spy and smuggled secret reports in her music sheets. She was a heroine of the French resistance. When the war ended, Josephine adopted 12 children from the four corners of the world. She believed people of all countries could live together in harmony and wanted to prove it to everyone. But times were changing in America and Josephine returned home. She traveled to Washington and marched for civil rights along with thousands of other people. A man called Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., marched with her. And when she celebrated her 50-year career on stage, the world gave her a standing ovation. It was a long way from St. Louis for little Josephine, but she had made it in her own spectacular way. Josephine Baker. She was born in 1906 and died at 1975. This is a picture of her in 1908 and another one of her here. It looks like 1927. And this is a picture of her talking with her cheetah. That's at 1930. And this is a picture of Josephine Baker at 1944. Josephine Baker was born Freda Josephine MacDonald in St. Louis, Missouri. Josephine's early years were difficult. She was brought up in poverty in a segregated city. This meant there were separate rules for white and black people. These rules affected everything from houses, medical care, and education to opportunities, jobs, and access to services. But Josephine made it despite the roadblocks put in front of her. She honed her craft watching vaudeville shows and danced herself out of the St. Louis slums. Her acts was acrobatic, improvised, and funny all at once. Her unique talent took her to show in Boston, New York, and Paris. And at the age of 19, Josephine became an overnight sensation in her first Parisian show. Over the following years, she continued to amaze audiences on stage, famously wearing a banana skirt. She became the first black woman to star in a major film, going on to make 4 in total. Then, during World War II, Josephine worked as a spy, carrying information that helped the French resistance against the Nazis. Josephine never stopped fighting for equal rights. She refused to perform in segregated theaters. She spoke at the March on Washington, and she adopted 12 children from around the world, calling them her Rainbow Tribe. Her hope for the future was that people would learn to live in peace and without prejudice. She remained one of the biggest and brightest stars in entertainment for the rest of her life.
The end. And that's the end of our story time. For more bedtime stories, you can check on our YouTube playlist or listen to more storytime compilations at the Storyteller Fox. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.